My name's Rob Cornerans. That's, as he said, Kevin Cornerans, and then Mike Cornerans is on as well. The picture of those two, my twin boys, they've been in the business with us for several years. We'll go to the history of advanced roofing. My history is I grew up in Long Island, and I worked for a roofing company when I was 15 years old. That's 50 years ago. I can't believe it. This year I turned 65. Been in the business 50 years. And when I started this business with a $15,000 loan and a pickup truck, I just didn't know where it was going to go. But doing excellent service and clients like you, we've been able to grow to where we are today. So little niches along the way. One is air conditioning. Back in the day, they put air conditioners on sleepers, and we had to raise them up. So we started an HVAC division and then a solar division as well. Everything is under one roof, HVAC, lightning protection, repairs, roofing coatings, and the asset management plan that you're going to see today is really a valuable tool for us and you. And the electric division does our solar work, and we're the largest solar rooftop and carport in the state today. So with that said, I'd like to give you a little bit of our history. Our branches are 7 locations throughout the state. Fort Lauderdale is our home office, headquarters, Jupiter, Sanford, Tampa, Jacksonville, Fort Myers, and Miami-Dade. What's good is we don't just spread our wings like there's a lot of national companies that go in and rent a space and, yeah, we're going to try this market. We've invested in buildings in 6 out of 7. Fort Myers is our only one without, and we're looking for a facility today. Like I said, we started in 1983 with 1 pickup truck, and along the way, we've had some good milestones. I'm not going to cover them all. One of them is I helped start Roof Connect, which is a national organization of roofing contractors, and I am presently the chairman of that board. We have 60 companies with 120 offices. That allows us in emergencies to bring in extra help, companies with men, so we can cover you up, keep you dry after a major event like a hurricane. Advanced Green Technologies in 2007 was when we got into solar. And like I mentioned, we are the largest rooftop and carport today. And then also in 2019, we exceeded the 500 employees. Today, we're approaching 600. And as everybody knows, we still need more to grow. So with that said, I'm going to turn it over to Clint Sockman to keep going on our great presentation.
All right. Yeah. Thanks, Rob. Appreciate the intro to business. Worked for a family company in Central Ohio and found that I don't know what it's been now, 16, 17 years ago. So today I qualify the company with my general contractor's license, roofing license, our solar license, and looking forward to talking to you about budgeting and asset management on your rooftops. Some of the key learning objectives that we're going to hit today are, how and when to budget for roof repairs and how and when to budget for roof replacement and roof maintenance. A lot of people maybe don't know this, but replacing a roof is often the most expensive capital expense that a building owner will take on, and it can certainly be a critical decision that's made as far as the long-term performance of the building and what it costs to own and operate that asset. We're also going to hit on how to utilize roof maintenance programs and ramp technology to your biggest advantage as an asset and a tool in the toolbox that you have in the property management or ownership business. And then we'll have some time for Q&A at the end. So when we get started, we're going to start off with a little poll here. Poll running. Maybe some technical difficulties on the poll. There it comes. How do you currently budget for your roof replacement? Experience, piggyback, work with a consultant. What's a budget? Is everybody seeing this?
It's up there.
There we go. All right. All good. Responses coming in. We have some experienced budgeters. Some people use consultants. Great resource. We have a large group of consultants that we work with, and couldn't agree more. So we're getting some varied feedback here. It looks like experience is leading the way, followed closely by consultants. Some people are using their piggy bank, and some people just aren't budgeting at all. I think experience is obviously a good thing, and it's one of our kind of key values is that experience matters. So using that experience is wise. Rob talked about it earlier, though, and a lot of things have changed over the last couple of years as far as cost structures, material costs, costs, labor costs. So some of that experience that you may have from the past, you might be surprised to see where we're at today. So when we start looking at the re-roof and budgeting planning, what are the key things that we're trying to answer? What do we need to kind of take in, right, to put together an accurate budget, an accurate plan? The very first thing that we want to do is obviously inventory that roof, the type of roof system that you have, the condition that it's in. Has it been well maintained or has it been neglected? A lot like the health of yourself or your car, your automobile, maintenance goes a long way. We're going to explore that a little bit further. And then, has it encountered high wind events? Have we been through storms? Do we have flashings that have been delaminated? Maybe some installation issues had occurred that were never corrected through improper workmanship or craftsmanship. And then, what are the existing roof conditions and some of the ancillary things that might be on that roof? Are there chilling towers that could cause difficulty in the work itself? The height of the building, the limited access or open access, test cuts of what the roofing system is currently made of and how it's currently attached to the deck, the type of decking or structural material that the roof's made out of. All of these things are key for us to know and for us to gather when we're starting the re-roof budgeting planning process. So then once we gather all that information, we start asking ourselves kind of key questions, right? And the major questions that we're looking to answer are, can this roof be repaired and the life be extended? Or does this roof have to be replaced? And once we have that inventory and we kind of understand where you're at right now, there's going to be a few things that we want to take in and ask some more questions to get some more details. Those things are things like service history. What are you currently spending annually just to stop leaks? Have you done any preventative maintenance throughout the life of the roof? What are the building owner's needs? We often, that's an overlooked conversation, but some people may be, hey, we have future plans for this property and we're going to demo this building in 5 years. We really just need to get by, or this is a long-term investment. I'm going to pass this on to my family or the business. And we have a long-term outlook. What's the current condition? We talked about what's the current life. Sometimes people really think that the age of the roof or do I have a warranty or not are the main factors. And we list those as kind of ancillary factors that aren't really key questions. Do they have a place in the decision? Absolutely. But roof age isn't always indicative of the condition that the roof is in or whether or not it needs to be replaced immediately or not. We've seen roofs that are 30 plus years old that have been well maintained and properly installed from the start that are still performing. And we've seen roofs that are 5 years old, 10 years old with poor craftsmanship, poor planning, neglect on the maintenance side that are in state of disrepair and actually have to be replaced. So when we ask ourselves all of these questions, we really come up with kind of best case to worst case scenario from a budgeting perspective. The first question is, can this roof be maintained? Could we put a preventative maintenance program in place to where we're doing some annual maintenance and extend the life of the roof that's there right now? That is always our first option. If not, what kind of repairs do we have to do to maybe get it to a maintainable state? Maybe we have isolated flashings that have been delaminated, or we have blistering in drains that need to be reworked, and those repairs can be done to get us into a maintainable state. If not, maybe our roof is crazing and cracking. We have major failure along our seams. Could that roof be rehabilitated with a coating while avoiding a major replacement? And if not, if a coating's not a solution or nothing in the first two bullet points are a solution, then we have to choose what is the right roof for your situation. What does that mean from a budget perspective? Roofs can come in all types of kind of commodity-based lower performance roof systems and high performance roof systems and what perspective. Well, we got another poll here. A lot of interactive conversations here. What is the driving factor in determining the life cycle cost of a new roof? Initial cost, life expectancy, maintenance costs, or other? Results are coming in. Maintenance cost, life expectancy. Nobody thinks the initial cost. Other. A lot of good educated responses coming in there. In my opinion, the answer to this is as everything filters in is all of these things do have some input into the life cycle cost of ownership, but really life expectancy and the cost of maintenance over time do play the major role. And we'll illustrate how that works in a little bit. A lot of people, a roof is an asset that's kind of out of sight, out of mind, right? We put a roof on, and if it's not leaking, we're not thinking about it. Our ramp programs are designed to really take that roof from a out of sight, out of mind conversation and put it into the forefront and treat it like it's an asset, because it is expensive. It can be costly to the business or to the occupants. And you can really manage that asset to either work in your advantage or your disadvantage. So, the life cycle cost of ownership, what are we taking in? The initial cost is obviously a factor. Life expectancy, that's not the warranty term. A well-maintained 20-year roof, warranted roof can last 30 years. A poorly maintained 20-year warranted roof can last 10 years. We see it all the time. Maintenance costs over time. Some other things that could factor into this. What are your energy savings? What's the disposal cost, right? Landfill and tearing off roof systems can be very expensive. If you can find a way to recover the system that's there or to code an existing system, that can save you money as well. Some really key facts and interesting things. 80% of all roofs fail prematurely due to lack of maintenance. Everybody we feel kind of comfortable with a warranty. It's important to know that our warranties are really heavily dependent on you doing certain things every year: inspecting your roof, maintaining your roof and maintainable items, maintaining your walls. Those are all things that if we don't do, the warranty is actually not in effect and can be voided. And it certainly gives the manufacturer a way to get out of any issues. So lack of maintenance kills 80% of roofs before their warranted period. We're going to talk about proactive repairs versus reactive repairs and the expenses that come up. Laura just put insurance costs, and insurance can absolutely be a factor as well. Especially as insurance companies are driving early replacement in order to maintain coverage. But one interesting fact, and we'll back this up with some sources from the federal government studies, but reactive repairs, meaning we're chasing after leaks and fixing things after they fail, 3 to 5 times more costly than planned maintenance. And this holds true in a lot of things that you may see in your daily life. If you don't change the oil in your car, which is a relatively inexpensive fix, $100, $200 for an oil change, you get your fluids changed, your engine might fail completely and you got a $5,000 engine repair. Roofing is no different. Proactively maintained roof systems on average can last 21 years compared to 13 years for reactive repairs. All of these things lead us into a conversation about cost of ownership over time, the decisions we make, and how it can affect you. So budgeting for maintenance. And then the next slide will ultimately be the cost of not doing it. Reactive maintenance, we've already talked about this. We're chasing leaks. We're coming after things after they've already failed. Proactive maintenance, treating it like an asset and moving it into kind of a different light, if you will, something that we're managing rather than just reacting to. The United States Air Force did a multi-year maintenance study on their buildings, and some interesting thoughts there. Preventative maintenance on average cost 2 cents a square foot at the time of the study. Reactive maintenance was costing the Air Force over 15 cents a square foot. So some really good data coming out of there that shows the value of that. So what happens when we don't budget for maintenance, right? What happens when we compare the cost of an asset management program versus reactive maintenance, when we're just going after critical issues after they've already failed? What we're looking at here is a comparison of two 25,000 square foot buildings of equal size with a new roof installed. The roof cost $10 a square foot to install it when we installed it. And in the scenario on the left vertical block, we're spending 4 cents every year for planned maintenance, right? Which is an asset management program. We're out there looking at things before they fail, fixing them on a controlled in a controlled environment. The second is we're taking it and we're spending 15 cents a foot to react to leak calls, to fix things after they break. And the life expectancy differences that we already talked about from the studies. In the vertical column on the right, we're assuming that we have to replace that roof after 15 years. right? 5 years prior to its 20-year warranty. And on the preventative maintenance side, the proactive approach, we're assuming that we replace that after 25 years, 5 years past its warranted lifespan. Both of them account for a 3% cost of inflation over time. And what you see is getting 25 years out of that first roof, the average cost of ownership annually ends up being about $11,000 per year. But in that scenario where we have to replace that roof 5 years earlier, 10 years earlier, 5 years before its warranty, and we're spending 4 times more on preventative maintenance, that annual cost of ownership is nearly $28,000 per year over that same 25-year window. Now that adds up significantly over that 25-year term. In the reactive scenario where you have to replace that roof 10 years before you do in the other scenario, you're paying more for that reactive maintenance. Cost of ownership 25 years in total, $714,000 to keep that roof, to keep your building dry. Conversely, you maintain that asset, that first initial $250,000 investment, maintain it with $25,000 worth of planned preventative maintenance over time, and the cost of ownership is $275,000. Dramatic difference, significant return on your money. And this is real world savings. These are studies that have been put out by numerous consultants, building institutes, the federal government managing their assets. We really see this play out every day. So just really trying to illustrate that. And then what lies beyond the initial investment? So we talked about life expectancy being the main driver. I think that was the number one answer in the poll, and it really certainly can be. So we're extracting how we maintain the roof, but we're now analyzing the roof that we choose and the specification that we choose up front. A lot of owners will choose to, I need to buy the cheapest roof I can buy today. Well, when we look at that from a standpoint of the investment itself, it might feel better to buy a cheaper roof today, but over the period of time, it really plays out significantly different. So this same 250 square roof, 25,000 square feet, a 20-year specification installed at $10 a foot compared to a 30-year specification installed at $11 a foot. So only a 10% increase. Both of these scenarios assume that we're performing that preventative maintenance program, that roof asset management program, and they also assume 3% cost inflation over the terms of the life of the system. The average cost of ownership for a 30-year roof is $10,000 a year. The average cost of ownership for that 20-year specification roof, $23,000 a year. So we're looking at nearly 2.5 times the cost of ownership that you're encumbering by only avoiding that 10% cost of the initial installation. So it can be dramatically different. Now, all of this assumes that you are maintaining that roof and that you're able to get these life expectancies out of these roofs through an asset management program. You're not avoiding it. The worst thing you could do is install a 30-year roof and not take care of that roof and end up in an early replacement situation. But when you really deploy both of these strategies, you have a powerful tool to put your money in the right places and have a long-term return. So we wanted to leave you with a bit of a cheat sheet. These are the budget numbers that we're putting out for various replacement budget scenarios. Roof repairs right now, our current roof repairs are running $170 an hour. Now that's 2 technicians. So an average of $85 per hour per technician to come out and do reactive repairs. Roof coatings and restorations. This is our typical 10-year restoration spec where we're coming in, we're able to put a coating down and extend the life of existing roof, $5 to $8 a square foot. If we're able to recover the existing system, can vary dramatically depending on whether it can be mechanically attached to a steel deck or if it has to be adhered to a substrate that's maybe over a concrete deck. But that can vary anywhere between $6 to $12 a square foot. Tear off roof systems anywhere from $12 to $20 a square foot on our what we would consider low-rise structures. Mid-rise buildings, 16 to 23. High-rise buildings, 10 stories plus, $23 to $33 a square foot. Any of those tear-offs that have to have tapered insulation would be, we would budget an additional $8 per square foot. I think Rob mentioned before, but we're really vertically integrated to handle HVAC, lightning protection, solar, and all of those things. We're not able to help you out with any budgeting needs for those divisions. Time for one more poll before I hand it over to Jason so we can talk about roof asset management. If you had to produce your roof warranty documents today, could you? It looks like the no's have it in the early polling. Yeah, we need to get one of those heat maps that they have at the political poll so we could get even more interactive with you guys, show you how the results are coming in. But the yeses are coming on strong. I'm going to turn it over to Jason Caruth. Jason runs our Orlando office. He started with Advanced back in 2008 in our Fort Lauderdale service department and has grown up all the way to a branch manager now, overseeing our second largest roofing operation in the state in Orlando. So, Jason, take it away.
Thanks, Clint. Good afternoon, everybody. There's about 50 people in here, just to give everybody a heads up of how many people are watching, and we appreciate you attending the budgeting webinar. So yeah, my name's Jason Caruth. I've been with the company for about 14 years. Started down in our Fort Lauderdale office, and I've been up here for about 13 years. So really working the same system as our Fort Lauderdale office is in doing the service and the maintenance. And I'm here to talk to you a little bit about some of the software and how we manage and help you guys utilize our tools at our company in order to budget for these re-roofs and budget for these repairs that we were just talking about. So this slide here is about roof management programs. We have a RAMP is what we call it, Roof Asset Management Plan or management portals. We have a trademark of Advanced Access, which is a software program that we utilize in-house that is free to our customers. What we do with that is we utilize integrative software that is accessible to the customer from your desktop with logins for identifying what Clint just spoke about, getting all the information about your roofs, helping you with budgets. And we also do leak reports and track history of how many times we've been out there. Advanced Access is specific directly to, it can be broken down from the owner, and then if you have multiple buildings or one building, it's very interactive. So it can be utilized from your phone. It can also be utilized from your desktop or your laptop as well. So some of the things it includes, like I said, we can do inspections from walking the roof, identifying all the problem areas. We do an inventory of everything that the roof consists of, including HVAC equipment. Where are your roof drains? What type of metals you have on your roof system? And we do a grade score, like an elementary grade score from A to F based on the condition of what we inspect. The budget reports, there's a couple different ways that we budget. We budget for emergency repairs. We budget for remedial repairs. And then we have a couple different, we could do a coating or a re-roof budget will be in these reports as well. You can order service through Advanced Access. And what that is to that $170 an hour rate that we mentioned before on the budgeting was to get a responsive two-man team to come out and make your repairs to your roof system. And it documents before and after pictures every time we go out there, and it kind of identifies the location of where the leak was located. And what this does is it builds a dialogue, or it builds a history of how many times we're going out to this building. How much money have you spent in the past year? Is it time to budget for re-roofing sooner? You can utilize your history of how many times you've been out there a lot based off of what you need to do in the long term. Another thing we utilize is we store warranties. If you guys have re-roofs that were done by other contractors or any type of warranties that you have from manufacturers, we can upload those into the portal. Therefore, they're not lost. It looks like a majority of the people couldn't find their warranties, and this is a great document a great platform for people to store their warranty information and your history. So next slide. It's kind of enjoyable, so everybody listen to this.
It's Nicole. She is a property manager for 20 commercial buildings in the area. But Nicole is in over her head, literally, with roofing issues. She's spending most of her time coordinating maintenance and repairs, analyzing reports, and budgeting for future projects, all while frantically searching for her roof's important documents when issues arise. And to complicate matters, All of Nicole's properties have different roof systems and life cycles, making routine asset management nearly impossible. Nicole was feeling frustrated and overwhelmed, trying to manage all of her roofs using different paper forms and spreadsheets, when she heard about the Advanced Access Roof Asset Management Portal from Advanced Roofing Inc. In business since 1983, Advanced Roofing Inc. is ranked as the #1 commercial roofing company in Florida by Roofing Contractor Magazine and specializes in roof replacements, repairs, and maintenance services for occupied buildings in Florida. Advanced Roofing implemented the Advanced Access Roof Asset Management Portal to help its customers achieve the maximum life cycle from their roofing assets through preventative maintenance, having complete control over their roofs 24/7, 365 days a year. From any internet-ready device, Nicole can now view all of her roof's information in one location, dispatch service with the click of a button, track work orders in real time, see photos from repairs, view warranty documents, and build custom reports for budgeting. Everything she needs is uploaded to her customer portal seamlessly and can be viewed from anywhere, anytime, even from the beach. With Advanced Access, Nicole can now streamline her roofing projects for good, allowing her to concentrate on what matters most, ensuring a safe environment for her tenants, and saving money for her properties. So, if you're a building owner or property manager with multiple buildings to care for, don't get overwhelmed. Get Advanced Access. Be like Nicole and free yourself from the stress of roof asset management. To schedule your free demonstration of the Advanced Access.
Yeah, so it kind of gives you a great summary there of what Advanced Access is. Kind of looking at the people that are on the call, a lot of property managers, a lot of building owners. Property managers get properties thrown at them, new properties thrown at them all the time to manage. They have no clue, no idea what kind of roofs they have, what conditions they're in. And that's the benefit of having this, basically being able to get some information and turn it back to the owner pretty quickly on a turnaround time, and having access to log in and see the existing conditions. So what we do in the site inspection reports up at the top there. So when we get to you schedule an inspection, it gets scheduled through our portal, and we identify when we're coming out there. We get up on the roof, and the technician basically walks the entire roof. Well, first of all, he walks the outside of the building and walks around the building to make sure that everything is sound and secure. And with the recent storms, a lot of people don't even know what kind of damage they've had on their roof until somebody gets up there. So the tech will get up on the roof. He'll start identifying what type of roof it is, walk around the building, and just get a kind of an overview. And then he utilizes the platform in order to start inventorying everything from the perimeters, what type of walls, what type of metals, how does the roof drain, how does the roof have positive slope, what is the roof type system. We talked about modified roof system, VUR roof system, TPO. We actually do them on shingles and slope roofs as well. So he identifies that, and he goes through the process and identifies everything that is the inventory of the roof. Then he'll look, and he'll start looking at the problem areas of the roof system. What is failing? What needs attention? And we kind of base those in two different categories: as an emergency, where we think it needs to be addressed, or it might be a reason water's coming in when it does rain, or a remedial, which is something that in the short term is going to be an emergency situation, if you will. So these are takes all the information, he puts it into the report, and then they're put together on recommendations. So next slide. So this right here is a kind of a little bit of an example. This is let's say this is building A, right? So the perimeter is outlined with a red line by GPS points from the guy on the roof, and he kind of pulls it out, identifies this roof area right here into 9 different sections, 1 through 9, and they're broken out into square footages. So for instance, you just find the bullet point there at number 1, 5,087 square feet. This is a guesstimated install. We do a little bit of research sometimes on the property appraiser's website to find out if a permit was pulled, and we can identify when the last roofing permit was pulled, or maybe the owner knows, and we can kind of put that date in there. I did speak a little bit about the grade. The grade is basically like your elementary or high school A through F, and this certain section here has a D. So this is an overview example of all the roof sections, the square footages, the estimated install date, and then the grade. So if you look at section 1 over here on the right-hand side, this tech has actually gone and started identifying specific problems to the roof area. And basically, like I said, he breaks it down either an emergency or a remedial. So for instance, the top picture there, this is a deficiency that he's identified at 5,086 square feet and of debris, the basically leaves that are in the drains, granules that could have washed through the drain on this specific type of roof. And there's an estimated cost for a remedial that he gives you there for $450. The next area down below is an emergency deficiency. He's identified 12 areas of open blisters. And basically, this is what we recommend that needs to be addressed due to water entering the roof system. Might not be entering the building, but it's entering the roof system and causing a failure. So this is an example of just that one section there of a couple of deficiencies of what they found. And this is all, like I said in the beginning, this is all interactive to where you can get it, obviously you can get it in a PDF link, or you can get it on the digital port by getting logged into our system and looking this up. So next slide. So what we've done there is we go through all 9 roof sections. We've kind of given you the 3 or 4 different types, the emergency, the remedials. If it's a coating application, and some of these roofs, in that particular roof that we just saw is a modified roof system, it might have the potential to be coated instead of having to incur the cost of re-roofing. So we provide you with those types of costs. Each line item all the way across is spelled out for whatever roof section. So there'll be a total for roof sections 1 through 9 for the emergency costs, a total for roof sections 1 through 9 on the remedial costs. And then there'll be lump sum amounts for budgets based off of pretty much that template that Clint shared earlier, and the coatings anywhere between 5 to 8 square feet, and then the re-roofing basis could be anywhere based on the height of the building or the type of roof going back. So one of the questions I get asked a lot of times is, what do we do when we make the emergency repairs? Does the roof grade go up? So if I have a D roof and you guys go out there and you do all the emergency repairs, does my grade get better? Well, it's like, it's obvious. We go back to the reports, we do the updates, we show that you've done the repairs to those sections, and yes, your grade will get better. And then obviously in a re-roof, we start over and we go into a maintenance plan from there. So next slide. So this here is like a summary of all the roof sections I was talking about. This is identifying roof section number 9. So in this scenario, there's $5,730 in emergency work that needs to be done. This is the largest section of that roof plan, if you guys identified that before. Remedial work at $4,975. And then we give you a replacement budget. And really what the replacement budget is the square foot number times those unit costs that we provided, and it came out to $187,170. So this helps the project manager. It helps the property manager. It helps the owner look. So this roof section is a D. We're probably there's a slide, I think that's 2 to 4 years. I don't know. So what's the next slide there? Maybe it'll give me the answer. Yeah, here it is. D is 2 to 4 years. If you guys see over here, it says A, B, C, D. These are the life expectancies at those grades from what we anticipate is left in the roof. So a D is 2 to 4 years. So we're giving the owner, with an elevated cost increase, pretty much an idea of what it's going to be in 2 to 4 years of $187,000 to replace that section. This here is a different roof section. This is actually a different building. This one here is kind of giving you a summary as well. We break it out for replacement costs. This is what the report final page looks like on the budget matrix. And this is actually showing when you choose these items and you're interactive in the portal, you can go in there and you click on these little blue boxes, and these are the ones that you're choosing to get done. And then we would get initiated a work order for this to be repaired. So next slide. Once again, this is just an overview of the total expenses of how much the owner has spent on repairs for these particular sections. So in the roofing industry, you don't necessarily need to re-roof the entire building. If these things are broken up into sections, you do need to have some type of dividing area or a dividing wall in between sections for 2 reasons: for permitting and for warranty terms. You can't just cut a big roof in the middle of an area and just replace a section. It's hard to get permitting for that. And it's also hard to get a manufacturers to buy into just tying into an old roof area. So we like to see perimeter edges. We like to see parapet walls. We like to see dividing area roof sections to where they're separated in order to do complete re-roofs on those areas. And we budget those out. If you looked at the other slide, the re-roof budgets are based off of areas in general. Next slide. And then this is basically referring to the capital improvements for each individual section, right? So that's what I just talked about. Each area is budgeted for replacement costs and expenses per area. So this is an interactive software. It takes a little bit of time to learn. We provide you with training. I've actually been to 5 or 6 different facilities helping multiple buildings. We're 40, 50 buildings for some of these government entities that we work with and have them interact. The best thing they utilize it for is 2 things: ordering service through the portal and knowing how much money they're spending on each of these buildings and when is it time to re-roof compared to just dumping money for repairs into a building. So next. One of the benefits of this is you could take this and export it to an Excel spreadsheet, and you can put any type of information that you would like on there. You can add columns to it. You can actually make notes, whatever you want. This is just showing you that it is interactive. This software is basically at your hands once you get your inspections and you get set up in it. So, like I said before, the best thing about this is free to the customer. Property managers, you don't understand what types of roof you have, don't know what kind of conditions they are. There's going to be some phone numbers and some contacts at the end of this presentation that you guys could take note. You reach out to those people, schedule some inspections, and we can start getting you set up and understanding what your roofs are and helping you. Clinton mentioned that it's the most expensive part of your building when it comes to re-roofing, and being prepared and being and having as much information as possible in order to incur that expenses, or how can we extend the life of it until it's time to re-roof. Eventually, they all got a re-roof, but what we try to do is just expand the existing life cycle of the roof system that's installed by inspections, repairs, maintenance, and that's pretty much it.
Excellent, Jason.
Goes back to Kevin.
So yeah, Advanced Access is just a tool to help you manage your roofing needs. So appreciate that, Jason and Clint, for the great information. We do have a question from Jeremy. As far as projecting replacement roofs, is there a forecast on the inflation of materials 20 years from now? So some advanced budgeting class.
That'll be a Clint question.
Well, I mean, I think it's pretty hard to forecast anything 20 years out. I mean, we can use historical inflationary data to say, 3 to 5% compounded annually over the next 20 years could be, a conservative approach to do it. But over the last 2 years, we've had extraordinary cost inflation, right? Nearly 100% on some construction materials. So in the short term, it's very hard to say. I think long term, you could take a more stabilized approach and come up with a number. But we often aren't looking out 20 years in the budgeting process. We really generally start trying to take a 5-year outlook is when we usually start budgeting for replacements, no more than 5 years out. But I don't think we have a real solid answer for you outside of maybe just using historical data.
Awesome. Appreciate the insight, Clint. Appreciate everyone's time today, and make a great rest of the week. Thank you.